Dangerous heat through the holiday weekend, intense heat all the way through Monday. We'll talk more about how hot it will get this afternoon and when we expect temperatures to drop just a bit in the next week.
And beating that extreme heat, layers of protective gear poses additional challenges for firefighters. How crews stay cool while protecting the public.
Plus, mother charged. A Wake County woman is accused of contributing to her 12-year-old son's death. Well, we are learning about that case right now.
Intense heat is in store for the holiday weekend. An extreme heat warning just went into effect and will last through Independence Day. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laura Levine here at this noon hour for Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lovingit. Yes, the big thing today, it's hot. It's going to be hot for a minute, and that's what meteorologist Grant Skinner has been tracking right now. Grant, we're in the beginning, really, of a stretch of days, but also those dangerous heat alerts.
Yeah, and the heat index is what's going to be the big factor through the rest of the day today and through this weekend. Heat index values reaching as high as 110 degrees. The extreme heat warning covers the triangle and points north into Virginia, back to the west towards the Triad, and a heat advisory to the south. Regardless, it's just going to be hot across the area. So be prepared for it. Temperatures climbing to the triple digits today and heat index values even higher. Also, an air quality alert in place for Wake, Durham, and Granville counties. So the air quality could be, again, a little bit rough for some. So might want to limit time outdoors throughout the day today if you are sensitive to the poor air quality. Southern Pines right now, there are folks that are braving the heat. I mean, really braving it. It is already very hot out there. Just a few clouds, but again, it's a lot quieter on the course because of how hot it is. Look at the temperatures already at noon. It's 96 in Raleigh. We're at 95 in South Hill, 95 in Southern Pines. The heat index is above 100 degrees on almost all these locations on the map here. Right now it has the South Hill heat index at 111. Not sure if it's that hot there yet, but I think 104 Raleigh and Durham, 102 in Roxborough. It's pretty realistic there. Feeling very, very hot already, and the heat will only get more intense throughout the rest of the day today. 102 for the high in Raleigh with a heat index at 110, 101 in Fayetteville with a heat index at 106. And this evening, staying warm. I know we have events in Cary, Apex, Wake Forest, all across the area for Independence Day this evening. Stay hydrated, take breaks in the shade whenever possible. We'll talk about a few storms late in the day on Independence Day and how hot it will be tomorrow as well, coming up.
Okay, Grant, thank you. Well, fire crews anticipate a higher number of calls for fires or fire-related injuries over the 4th of July weekend. And that's because conditions are ripe for fires due to the drought. But how do they keep themselves safe during this intense heat wave? Well, WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes, she spoke with fire and forestry officials. And Elizabeth, how are they preparing?
Well, Laura, they say that they're worried about heat exhaustion, considering how hot it is right now. And think about all the gear that they're wearing and the equipment that they have to carry. If their body temperature reaches 100 degrees, that could cause serious injuries. And that's even a bigger problem for volunteer fire crews that are in more rural areas because they have limited staff. They're relying on volunteers. Now, take this wildfire that happened in Granville County over the weekend. The Bullock Volunteer Fire Department responded to it. It was about 15 acres wide. Now, crews had to use GPS technology to find the fire because seconds matter when it comes to putting out these fires and avoiding overexposure to the heat. Now, the assistant fire chief told me that their crews rotated with water breaks and they tried to stay as shaded as they could because they're already wearing all that heavy equipment. And forestry crews there are now using GPS technology that works on their phone to better plan how they even respond to these fires and the intense heat.
Because we've been in this exceptional drought, our fuels are very dry. And so looking at natural barriers as well as how far the fire could progress to come up with a safe way for responders to actually stabilize the scene and stop the fire itself from moving.
Now, fire crews and forestry crews are asking people this July 4th holiday weekend to leave the fireworks to the professionals so that they don't have to respond to a wildfire like that. Elizabeth Holmes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Elizabeth, thank you. And you can track the rising temperatures with the WRAL weather app. It is free to download from your phone's app store. Make sure to turn on those push notifications so you can get those important weather alerts sent right to your home screen.
Well, and Laura, despite the heat, the First and Freedom Parade steps off tomorrow morning in downtown Raleigh. And the parade will celebrate the people and the traditions that define North Carolina and America. It will march along Salisbury and Fayetteville streets It starts at 9:30, and you will be able to stream it live on WRAL.com. Now, at least 2 other Wake County towns are changing their plans to make sure that people stay safe. The town of Cary, for example, will have a celebration from 4 to 10 tonight at downtown Cary Park. And it is also scaling back its event tomorrow night at Kokobuth Amphitheater. The North Carolina Symphony no longer performing, and the start time tomorrow night has been pushed back to 6 p.m. Fireworks will go off at 9:25. Then, over in Knightdale, 4th on 1st is moving to Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And you can expect to see some live music and inflatables, games, and so much food at Knightdale Station Park. You'll find a full list of events and fireworks on WRAL.com.
Well, if you're preparing for a road trip today, let's take a look at those gas prices right now. You can see here the latest prices from AAA. It shows in Raleigh, a gallon of regular gas is $3.56. In Greensboro, it's $3.52. And in Asheville, it's $3.59. So whether it's by air or on the road, today is expected to be one of the busiest travel days of the 4th of July weekend. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has what drivers need to know as they prepare to join the millions of people who will be on the highways.
We're seeing some activity here on 40 at Rock Quarry Road as folks are headed off to their 4th of July destinations. Now, if you are one of the more than 2 million North Carolinians that's hitting the road this weekend, here are some of the best and worst travel times you should know about. Now, unfortunately, you've already missed the best travel time today. That was any time before 11. And the worst time to head out is between noon and 7. But that's okay. Now, if you're coming back from your trip on Sunday, leaving in the morning before 11 is your best option. The worst time to drive back is between noon and 6. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says gas prices are trending downwards, but you won't see any major cost differences this week. Instead, focus on picking the cheapest location to fill up.
The date and the timing doesn't really matter so much as finding a station with a lower price, because every day of the week, 24/7, there's probably a range of 20 to 50 cents a gallon between stations. So, but if you want to wait a couple days, you might save a penny or two.
To find the lowest gas prices anywhere, head on over to WRAL.com and search fuel. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
I'm Kirsten Clark in the WRAL Live Center. Speaking of holiday road travel, if you find yourself impaired this weekend and you don't have a way to get home, no need to fear. AAA is here with free rides and tows. Let's take a look. The program is called Tow to Go, and it aims to discourage drunk driving during the holidays. So here's what you need to know. It's available for both members and non-members with AAA, and it starts today at 6 o'clock this evening, and it ends Monday at 6 a.m. There is one caveat. You must be within a 10-mile radius from your home, and it may not be available in rural areas. So if you do find yourself in need, just pick up your phone and call 855-2-TOW-TO-GO, and AAA has you covered this weekend.
Looks like they have people's backs, Kirsten. Okay, so thousands of people are also going to be flying to get to their holiday weekend trips to get started. TSA is preparing to screen about 130,000 people at RDU over the weekend. In fact, it says that security checkpoints are fully staffed and prepared to handle large passenger volume. It's also using advanced technology at several airports for America 250 celebrations. At RDU, the TSA wants to remind travelers that peak travel times are 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. We spoke with travelers who booked their trip to Hawaii early and prepared for the long lines.
Booking everything in advance as much as possible. He didn't like to hear it, but I was like, I called a taxi ahead of time. It's coming here at 4:30 in the morning. Like, that's what we're going to do.
My heart sank.
Now, it is recommended that you arrive at the airport 2 hours early for a domestic flight and 3 hours early for an international flight. Sunday and Monday will also be very busy travel days as people head back from their holiday trips.
Breaking this afternoon, a Fuquay Arena mother is now accused of murdering her own son. Holly Wren is charged with second-degree murder for the death of her 12-year-old son, Jacob Wren. Prosecutors say that she failed to seek medical attention for Jacob. So let's get right to Alex Littlehells. He's live at the Wake County Courthouse. And Alex, there's a lot unfolding here in the last couple of hours. What's the latest?
Good afternoon. Well, there are some major questions about this case, given the timeline of both the death and the arrest in this case. So from an obituary for Jacob Wren, 12 years old, we know that he passed away in March of 2025. That is almost 15 months ago, but it wasn't until this week when a grand jury actually indicted Jacob Wren's mother, Holly Wren. Now, you'll see here, this is Holly Wren, the 53-year-old woman, the mother of Jacob Wren. She faces charges of second-degree murder and intentional child abuse inflicting serious bodily injury. Now, according to the grand jury indictments, Holly Wren is accused of, quote, failing to seek medical attention for Jacob Wren's untreated diabetes, eventually causing his death. It went on to say she was negligent in Jacob's care and had a, quote, reckless disregard for her biological son's life. So, as you had mentioned, still so much unfolding about this case, but what we do know, we have some information that we have pulled from Jacob Wren's obituary. He, the 12-year-old, loved games, hiking, and visits to the beach. As for Holly Wren, Jacob's mother, her next court appearance is here at the Wake County Courthouse this coming Monday. I'm Alex Littlehales in Raleigh for WRAL News.
New at noon and only on WRAL, the president of the State Employees Association says more needs to be done to support state prisons. Wendell Powell is urging state lawmakers to make more resources available at correctional facilities. And he made those comments while I interviewed him about those inmates who overpowered jail staff in the eastern part of the state this week.
If you don't know how prisons work, no one knows really what's going on behind closed doors. They don't see the stress or the issues.
Powell is also a captain at the Harnett Correctional Institution. I pointed out that investigators said 88 inmates and 3 guards were inside the Bert T. Martin Regional Detention Center when the guards were overpowered on Monday. It was so intense at one point, inmates took over parts of the jail, but that situation was resolved hours later. Powell says that 88 to 3 guards ratio, that's actually pretty common post-COVID at correctional facilities.
At one point, we used to have 45 officers. And that was just officers. That wasn't including sergeants, lieutenants or captains.
And he says having a third of that many officers, that's the new norm. Imagine having a prison with 800 offenders, but only 15 officers. Powell says it's this short staffing that can lead to burnout and fatigue and other mental health challenges for staff.
This is dangerous. I mean, you're talking about people's lives. And we're not talking about just staff. You're talking about the offenders. I mean, no one wants to have an incident where offenders are assaulted physically or sexually, or their needs aren't being met. And that's what can happen from lack of staff.
Powell says addressing pay and staffing are ways to make improvements, but he argues that in order for the people who can make changes, lawmakers, to see where the needs are the greatest, go visit the jails and prisons in their districts.
They need to talk to the staff. They need to talk to the administrators and have real talks, not just the, hey, we come to visit, hey, I'm here at the prison, photo op.
And so the state budget awaiting the governor's approval spends an extra $150 million on state prisons this year. And that takes the total amount above $2.2 billion. Right now, thousands of jobs at prisons are vacant. In fact, the new budget would eliminate hundreds of those to free up more than $40 million. And this would allow the state to give raises to existing correctional officers, as in 13% raises in the new budget. That's more than quadruple what most other state employees will receive. And if you give us about maybe the next hour or so, you should see more on this story on WRAL.com.
Coming up next at noon now, a celebration 250 years in the making. We have a look at the celebrations planned around the country for the 4th of July.
Also, burn warning. Sparklers and fireworks will be all over the place. And so we're going to share the best ways to keep your kids from needing a trip to a burn center.
And AI accelerating. The technology is expanding faster than many expected. At 12:30, we'll look at how it's changing online shopping.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000. Sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Across the country, people are getting ready to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. President Trump will oversee events at an iconic site while tall ships grace the eastern seaboard. And one man makes his mark on the land in honor of the big milestone. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports.
With final preparations underway this morning, organizers of the Freedom 250 Salute to America are now delaying tomorrow's start time from 1 to 5 p.m. because of the expected triple-digit heat in the nation's capital. This scary moment taking place during a rehearsal, a piece of the set falling, nearly hitting some of the performers. A Freedom 250 spokesperson telling NBC News everyone is safe. President Trump saying he won't be deterred by the heat.
It's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
At the other end of the National Mall, fencing surrounds the reflecting pool ahead of a massive fireworks show. The landmark is back in the headlines after its recent algae bloom following a more than $14 million renovation. Former U.S. Olympic canoeist David Hearn, accused of vandalizing the pool, has now been indicted on a federal felony charge for destruction of property.
Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands.
Hearn's attorney calling the allegations outrageous, insisting he's innocent. Today, President Trump is also traveling to another iconic landmark ahead of 4th of July celebrations, Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Since his last visit 6 years ago, the president has repeatedly mused about wanting his face added to the monument, even posting this image recently.
And that was Gabe Gutierrez reporting. Tomorrow, NBC News will have all-day coverage of America's 250th birthday. It kicks off with a special edition of the Today Show. We'll also have exclusive coverage of the Sail Forth Tall Ship Parade in New York. It all begins at 7 a.m. tomorrow right here on WRAL.
So with the 4th of July falling on a long holiday weekend, doctors are preparing for an increase in burn injuries. The UNC Burn Center says they see more patients during the 4th of July than any other time of the year. About a third of the patients they see are children, and doctors say every year they see significant injuries. We're talking about facial burns, even the loss of fingers. And injuries are largely caused by illegal fireworks or the misuse of sparklers and firecrackers.
What we commonly see is someone will put a firecracker in their hand and light it, and then I guess the intention is to throw it or get rid of it before it explodes, and it explodes early. It can cause a pretty significant injuries.
And so if someone is burned, doctors say to cover the wound with a dry, clean dressing and to head to the nearest ER.
A message of mercy projected on the outstretched arms of Christ the Redeemer. Operators flashed an important message to help Venezuela recover from twin earthquakes on June 24th. The statue of Jesus Christ was lit up in the colors of Venezuela's flag with a video message last night. It read, SOS Venezuela. So many people, of course, thinking of those right now tragically impacted by those two earthquakes. All right, now time to check in with meteorologist Grant Skinner here. Grant, we are talking about triple-digit heat, already seeing crazy temperatures at this point.
I know. I think before the show, I was like, Chris, you got to look at this.
Yeah, 108 in South Hill?
Yeah, so it was 111 for the heat index in South Hill already. Temperatures are already in the mid to upper 90s. It's just too much.
Yeah.
And this heat lasts all the way through Monday. We finally back off with the temperatures by the middle of next week, but yeah, it's going to be very, very hot. It's going to be important to stay hydrated throughout this weekend for the 4th, all the way through the start of next week. And then all of central North Carolina is going to be impacted by this intense heat through next week. So be prepared for it. Right now, lots of blue sky, just a few clouds out there. Just already a hot start to the day. Again, just talked about this. 96 in South Hill, up to 109 for the heat index. 96 in Raleigh with a heat index of 104. 92 is your temperature in Fayetteville. 92 in Goldsboro with heat index values approaching 100 degrees for some spots. So it's very, very hot. Up to 102 for our high today. Mostly dry, very, very hot. Late today, temperatures drop to the mid 80s by 11 o'clock. But keep in mind the heat index will likely be above 100 degrees for a good portion of the day through around 8 o'clock this evening. So take that into account when you have your evening plans, going to Cary, Apex, Wake Forest, any of those events for Independence Day this evening, because we have some today and then a lot more tomorrow. So these heat alerts go in effect, just started, and then it lasts all the way through tomorrow evening. We have an extreme heat warning for the Triangle and points north, heat advisory for the Sandhills and points south. We also have an air quality alert as well today for Wake, Durham, and Granville County, so keep that in mind as well. We'll have some lower air quality for those spots. Weather alert days last all the way through the end of the weekend. Temperatures in the triple digits, up to 103 for the 4th of July. And some isolated storms possible late in the day. That range hits up to 30%. mainly closer to 8, 9 o'clock. I think we'll stay mostly dry for the majority of the day, but I wanted to show you future casts real quick. Through the rest of this afternoon, very quiet, just a few clouds, maybe a brief shower in our northern spots, within the 20% rain chance. But then tomorrow, in the morning hours, it's quiet, just a few passing clouds. But then later in the day, you'll watch for a small chance for a brief shower or storm. I mean, 2:30, we're still pretty quiet, but it's later in the day, closer to 5, 6 o'clock. These isolated showers and a few storms pop up in our far northern spots, hoping they hold off till after the firework displays. And then a few storms possible. 1 or 2 of those could be strong. We have a level 2 of 5 risk along the North Carolina-Virginia border, a level 1 of 5 risk just south of that. A brief damaging wind gust can't be ruled out. Again, it's very hot, so that's fuel for these storms to develop if you have some lift, and the lift will be just to our north. So I think a few storms will develop. The better rain chances come next week during the first half of the week. That's when temperatures finally cool off a bit. But for now, some very intense heat. Weather alert days all the way through Monday with triple-digit temperatures. I think we're quickly going to get to the triple digits here in the next couple of hours.
Okay, Grant, thank you.
That's too many zeros in them forecasts.
It certainly is.
Someone needed to say it. I'll be the person. Okay, so we're talking about a parasite that is causing issues for people all across the country ahead of the 4th of July. A warning as people prepare to gather for their cookouts. That's tonight at 4.
Also, water works. The extreme heat means people are drinking a lot more water. Tonight at 5:30, we share how much water you actually need to beat the heat.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. It's getting all the buzz today. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce believed to be hosting wedding festivities at New York City's Madison Square Garden today. Take a look at this video. We've been seeing crews setting up outside of Madison Square Garden since yesterday. They have white tents and screens outside. And a source with knowledge of the matter who was among the invitees told NBC News that over 1,000 people are expected to attend. Guests were sent non-disclosure agreements along with electronic invites. And of course, there are no phones allowed at these festivities. You can see there's a officer holding what looks to be a folder that says Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding. So all the rumors have been going around. We'll see what actually happens today. But a lot of folks excited to see what happens with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Oh, yes, Kirsten. And new white tents up today where the guests will be arriving. So we'll see how much we can see from today's festivities. Well, as the nation prepares to ring in its 250th birthday tomorrow, there's an effort to spotlight everyday Americans. Oliviana Calmes explains how Ancestry.com is working to celebrate unsung heroes.
We still advocate nonviolence and passive resistance.
We all know Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His fight for equality and civil rights changed the fabric of the nation and paved the way for future leaders.
Change only happens when ordinary people get involved and they get engaged.
But what about America's unsung heroes? Ahead of the nation's 250th birthday, Ancestry.com launched a campaign to highlight everyday individuals whose contributions shaped our country but may be missing from traditional history books.
The stories go from STEM or science to the arts, to music.
Take, for example, Philo T. Farnsworth. Before inventing America's first television set, his World War I draft card had him down as a farmer in rural Utah.
Sometimes folks think that you have to start off notable or famous in order for you to have records, and that's simply not true.
Another example, Bessie Coleman, the first African-American woman to earn a pilot's license.
We have her passport application where she was applying for a passport to go to France to be trained as a pilot because she couldn't get training in the United States.
Genealogy experts say learning these stories help deepen our understanding of American history and help us connect with one another.
It really drives the point home that American history is so diverse and varied, and we're all coming to it from different perspectives and different experiences.
Our thanks to Oliviana Calmes for that report. Ancestries, the Stories of Us campaign runs until the end of the year, and it's taking submissions from the public online.
All right, folks, we have an extreme heat warning we are telling you about, with much of the area seeing highs in the triple digits today as we're giving you a live look over at the DBAP. Grant Skinner is going to come back here and get you a look at conditions where you are.
And Lulu's Law, how a teen's encounter with a shark prompted action from lawmakers. How a new system could prevent future attacks.
All right, so it was already hot yesterday, and temperatures will only continue to climb right now through the 4th of July. Ugh.
Yes, and meteorologist Grant Skinner is beginning to sound like a broken record at this point. Hot, hot, hot. How many times can we say it? But it looks like we won't really see much relief until the middle of next week, Grant.
That's right. The heat lasts all the way through Monday, at least the intense heat across the area. We finally see temperatures drop just a bit, and we'll talk more about that in the 7-day forecast. I wanted to start with the temperatures and the heat index right now because this has been the story of today so far. 96 already in Raleigh and in Durham. It's 97 in Roxborough, 92 in Fayetteville, 94 in Rocky Mount. And look at the heat index values, already pushing well over 100 degrees in some spots. This is why we have those heat alerts in place today. And the heat index will stay above 100 degrees all the way through 8 o'clock. That's why we have the heat alerts as well. Plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Might see a brief late day shower, but I think we'll stay mostly clear in most spots. We have an extreme heat warning for the triangle and points north to the south. We have a heat advisory. Regardless, it's going to feel very hot across the entire area. So emphasize this, broken record, but hydration is going to be very key. Hydrating early and often as well, especially tomorrow morning. If you plan to be outside for long periods of time, maybe have some drinks, you're going to be outside for a long period, just drink plenty of water before you go out in the morning, have those electrolytes and have some hydration ready for when you come inside as well. And be hydrating throughout the course of the day. Again, very hot, heat index up to 110 today and tomorrow. Those heat alerts go all the way through 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. And just a few clouds over Raleigh right now. We also have air quality alert all the way through 8 p.m. this evening, so keep that in mind. It'll be hot, and also the air quality will be lowered for some spots across the area. And temperatures in the mid to upper 90s right now. We'll reach the triple digits this afternoon. We'll talk more about that intense heat today and for the 4th coming up.
Okay, Grant, thank you. So as the country prepares to celebrate its 250th anniversary, millions are sweating through a scorching heat wave, driving triple-digit temperatures. With 21 states under those extreme heat alerts, severe storms could now be added to the holiday mix. NBC's Sam Brock reports.
24 hours until the nation celebrates a major 250th birthday blowout, but all of it taking part under a blanket of hellacious heat.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
Temperatures matching or smashing all-time highs, prompting warnings from officials and regular people.
It's 7:30 right now, and it already feels like I am dying.
In New York, the Bronx even notching one reading of 107 degrees. One woman recording this unbelievable video, leaving a shoe print in asphalt.
It is so freaking hot out right now.
The heat dome also melting records from 104 degrees in Newark, New Jersey to 102 in Washington, D.C., similar to Death Valley, California.
It radiates at you from every angle because of all the concrete, right? And so it's just like oppressive and you just can't escape it.
For those seeking escape on New York shoreline, a 9-foot shark was spotted off Long Island, forcing Hempstead lifeguards to shut down access to swimmers. New York City also trying to manage a potential strain on its power grid, with the mayor asking residents to keep their thermostats at 78. And utility company Con Ed repairing power lines and reducing voltage in the Bronx and nearby Westchester County, calling for energy conservation there too. All of it against the backdrop of not just 4th of July celebrations, but World Cup matches, with visitors in for some shocking temperatures.
I am sweating so much. It is like a heat advisory here in Atlanta. This is the dream. Air-conditioned stadiums. This is the one.
So you can track the rising temperatures with the WRAL weather app. It's free to download from your phone's app store. Make sure to turn on those push notifications so you can get important weather alerts sent right to your home screen.
Okay, so this year is expected to be a record-breaking year for July 4th travel across the country. In fact, millions of people will be driving or even flying. WRAL's Ali Kabdabar has what you can expect if you're taking a trip through RDU.
TSA is expecting to screen about 130,000 travelers over the holiday weekend. Right now, we are seeing that those lines are short, they are flowing, and if they do get long, at least people will be escaping the heat, staying inside with the AC. But check out this video from just before the start of the holiday travel season last week. At RDU, TSA says that peak travel times are 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 3 to 5 p.m. TSA says they are prepared to handle large volumes of passengers, as many are traveling to celebrate the 4th. We spoke with a traveler who's going home to see his family for Independence Day. He says he served in Vietnam, and being able to travel and celebrate with his family means a lot.
So there's a new survey that shows that America's adoption of AI right now kind of accelerating more quickly than people anticipated.
Yes, Evan Brown explains this is especially true in the world of online shopping.
AI is accelerating. A new survey by the tech consulting company Accenture shows a big step forward in Americans' use of artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to buying things online. 74% of consumers now say they're willing to let the computer do the shopping for them. The main reason? Chatbots are getting good at mimicking personal relationships with users.
If you've got two people sitting together, they'll notice that the style of response from the tool is also uniquely geared around them.
And Accenture says that's a big selling point for a growing number of online shoppers.
What they're trying to do is to try and build trust with the user and relevance with the user.
But the survey also showed the growing trust in AI might be coming at the expense of human experience, with 74% reporting they now trust chatbots more than their best friend.
When people are putting responses into the tools, what they are looking for is unbiased results. And friends may sometimes hesitate to tell you what they really think. AI doesn't.
Even more surprising, 10% of respondents said they'd be willing to give AI their credit card details without even reviewing the purchase first. And Accenture says that's a sign of things to come.
It's going to become a very, very significant way in which e-commerce and commerce in general takes place as we go forward over the next decade.
All right. Well, 71% of shoppers say that they will look to AI for more than half their purchases next year.
That's a lot of trust to put into a robot. All right, we're talking about a shark alert system. A teenager's near-death experience inspired action. How Lulu's Law could help prevent other shark encounters.
Also, patriotic makeover. Just in time for the nation's 250th anniversary, dozens of fire hydrants in one city are sporting a new look. How the beautification project is reflecting American pride.
Okay, so one teenager's shark attack survival story, it inspired new legislation.
Yes, we're talking about Lulu's Law, which comes just in time for summer as many flock to the beaches. Ted Linder explains how new emergency alerts will ensure those visits are safe.
What started as a day like any other for Lulu Gribben took a turn for the worse.
All of a sudden, my best friend yelled shark, and so we all just started swimming for our lives.
She was attacked by a shark while on vacation in Florida in 2024. The then 15-year-old lost her left hand and part of her right leg. But Gribben says what she found out later could have changed everything.
There was another shark attack just 90 minutes before me and only 3 miles down the coast. If I would have known that there was a shark attack, I would not have been in the water.
Her story has inspired new federal legislation, which requires the Federal Communications Commission to allow emergency alert messages for shark attacks. It was signed into law by President Trump last week.
I'm just so excited, and it's just, there's no words to describe how honored I feel right now. It's really just common sense legislature, and it says that whenever there has been a shark attack in a certain area where you are near in a certain radius, it will send an alert to your phone, exactly like how an Amber Alert system works when a child is abducted.
One shark attack survivor who was bitten by a tiger shark off the Big Island of Hawaii says the alert system will be especially useful for tourists.
We have so much people visiting the island every single day. It can help keep a lot of more people safer.
Though this is now federal law, it's ultimately up to states to implement the warnings.
In May, 4 great white sharks were discovered swimming off the North Carolina coast, and the research group OSearch tracks these animals year-round. One sighting was near Surf City in Cape Fear, well from the shoreline. Experts say the great whites were headed north for cooler waters.
A busy
Yeah, we're talking about what you can get into this weekend in WRAL's Out and About section. Let's go ahead and dive in right now. So the July 4th Fun in Garner, that starts tonight. The town is hosting its Independence Day celebration at Lake Benson Park. The celebration will include live music and food, tours, of course, of the Veterans Memorial. The night will wrap up with a fireworks show, and that is around 9:30 with gates opening at 5.
And it will be a weekend full of fireworks at the DBAP. There will be fireworks shows after each of the Bulls' 3 games against the Gwinnett Stripers this weekend, starting tonight. Tickets are available online. The Durham Bulls are owned by Capital Broadcasting Company, the parent company of WRAL. In the town of Knightdale.
Well, as we wrap things up, here's a few of the headlines that were following today for WRAL News. Several Independence Day events around our area are being adjusted, and that's because of, you guessed it, the extreme heat. Cary and Knightdale have made changes to their celebrations tomorrow, and tonight's NC Courage game will kick off at 7:30. That's actually an hour later than planned. All of this, again, because of the dangerous heat.
And every year, more and more people travel for the 4th, and experts say this year's gas prices are the second highest ever for the holiday. AAA says the best time to travel today will be after dark. If you're about to hit the road, you'll be in good company, as this afternoon is predicted to be the busiest travel time.
Well, all eyes are on New York City's Madison Square Garden today for the possible wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. There's a big tent there with a large privacy curtain that's been set up outside one entrance there to Madison Square Garden. That's where it's believed that guests will enter. About 1,000 guests are expected to attend, according to reports. Even CNN reporting that vows will be exchanged at 5:30 tonight. A lot of coverage for this one, Laura.
Oh, yes. Well, communities across America are now finding creative ways to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday. Residents in one Wisconsin town repainted more than 60 fire hydrants across the city over the past month. The competition turned local hydrants into works of art. With the fire department's approval, of course, people were limited to just red, white, and blue paint. But that didn't limit their creativity. Local residents will vote on the winners in 2 categories, 15 and under and 16 and over. Winners will be announced tomorrow during the town's 4th of July celebration.
People in Chatham County can pick among 10 designs for this year's I Voted Election Day stickers. The designs were all drawn by kids who attend Chatham County Parks and Recreation summer camps. There were a total of 100 entries, and the Board of Education narrowed it down to these 10 right here. They're scrolling at your screen. Look pretty cool, right? You can cast your vote right now on the county's website, and the deadline to vote is July 16th.
Our pet of the day now comes to us from the Wake County SPCA. Sweetie is a 2-year-old female cat. She's very curious and sweet and gets along with other cats. Her favorite thing in the world is following you around while you clean. She thinks cleaning is fascinating. If you're looking for a cat to keep you company while you do your chores, she's your girl. Sweetie's adoption fee is $85, which includes her spay, microchip, vaccines, and other wellness care.
Protecting your food and your body. Summer is peak food poisoning season. Five on Your Side shares 4 key reminders before attending those holiday cookouts this weekend.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, and your next local news update comes in 30 minutes.
And as always, you can get your breaking news updates anytime with your weather reports with the WRAL News app. Please have a fun and a safe Independence Day.
Stay cool.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.